one of my biggest supporters. And I'm not going to say her name just to protect her privacy. But I decided to get on this morning. I won't really be looking much at the comments, y'all. And I'll just be deleting negativity without warning because I really just want to keep my to my schedule. Okay, I can't have any morning delays anymore. So yeah, if you're dealing with anxiety, often people are dealing with anxiety and don't even know they're dealing with anxiety. So I'm gonna give you some solutions that work for me. Plus, I'm gonna give you some downloads that I got, some synchronicities, as well as um, some non-traditional guidance. Feel free to enjoy the kitchen sounds that you hear as I'm cleaning, purging, also prepping things for the meal today. So I don't know how many people are in the video. I can't really tell. But I felt like today I really wanted to get into some self help literature. And that's what I got as a download this morning as I was walking. And then it showed up as a synchronicity. So, private solitude self help literature. I heard Brian Tracy, his name come to me yesterday, and then his book was sitting right with the books that I normally use. So this is definitely a synchronicity. I did feel like I wanted to celebrate the feminine energy. This book my mother gave to me as a gift. So because the feminine energy is definitely Scorpio season, um, it's good to read books that are also written by women or books that are written by peaceful men. Okay. Yeah. So I was thinking about where I put this book at, and then when I went to find a different book, this book showed up. So yeah. So I'm gonna be talking about this because sometimes anxiety is caused due to um, unhealthy weight and a purging that needs to be done in your stomach. A lot of people may not think that stomach is connected to also anxiety, but it is. So I'm going to give y'all a recipe that I started doing lately that I'm finding helps with my anxiety and it helps with weight loss. I know that anxiety always eventually ends up messing up someone's diet. So that's why you have to treat anxiety immediately. Um, so what I've been having is a teaspoon of baking soda in at least 2 cups of water with at least a half a lemon or a quarter of a lemon. Y'all, I'm talking in math. If you cut a lemon in 4 sections, then it would be a quarter of a lemon in your 2 cups of spring water or mineral water. Mineral water is better. You want to put at least a teaspoon of ginger in there. Okay, it's going to taste like kind of medicinal tasting, but that's the point of the drink. Okay, so you can drink a cup every hour. 2 cups between your morning meal and your lunch. Anxiety tend to get us in the morning, so this will help. All right. Ginger is really good for fighting anxiety. I had horrific anxiety when I was a kid, and my mother would carry ginger snaps, and she would always buy a bag of ginger snaps because she knew that I needed them for my anxiety. So, if you are an older person, you know that you can just suddenly get anxiety because you're sensitive to the toxicity in the world. So, you definitely want to uh, get you some low-fat ginger snaps, okay? The problem with buying over-the-counter ginger snaps at any store is sometimes it gives you too much fat too much fat, the cookies do, per 5 ginger snaps. So you want to buy low fat, low sugar um, ginger snaps. Ginger snaps that have molasses in it rather than white granulated sugar. Hi, everybody. If this video is helping any of you, um, please let me know. Don't just watch the video. I don't know who all is in here. If any of my regular supporters are in here, feel free to let me know, because once you show up, it makes me want to give more. Okay, when I know my regular supporters, because they earned it. They earned to get extra help. So if Anita's in here, love the Most High. Antonella, I think her name is Kiki. Key, if you're in here, and the one guy who donates, feel free to say hello. Okay, Hansi, don't start it. He's starting it already, man. So another thing I do to relieve anxiety is I do eucalyptus cold water face rinse, and I always rinse out my eyes, especially my third eye. Your third eye can give you tremendous anxiety if it has too much clutter in it. Your third eye really don't like all that, like internet surfing and streaming a whole lot, all that. Your third eye can't take that. So try to clean your third eye out several times a day and clean your eyes out. If you've been using technology a lot and you're feeling overwhelmed and anxiety from it, you definitely want to clear, do cold water or Himalayan sea salt cold water rinses of your eye, the corner of your eyes, and your third eye. You may want to actually get some eye solution. If you're dealing with anxiety a lot, you probably should get some solution for your eyes. Okay. Also, to dopamine levels being like really unstable, like extreme high dopamine and very low dopamine. If you're in that kind of cycle, it can create anxiety. So make sure that you're not overdoing it with the dopamine, that you're actually getting some endorphins in and things that will boost estrogen. A lot of women suffer from anxiety. A lot of middle-aged women. The crashing of the estrogen causes it at times. So consider taking a vitamin that is for nerves and that will help you with amino acids and magnesium and something that keeps your hormones stable, like the MSM vitamin. I noticed that my anxiety is not as bad because I take the MSM vitamin. So you may want to consider taking that. Sometimes anxiety is all because you're not rested enough to deal with the toxicities of the world. So try to do things that will get you at rest and bring you joy. So I like burning candles that smell like the forest and white light candles. If you deal with cycles of anxiety, consider getting you a white candle that actually says for vibration and mindfulness. That way it helps your brain waves and all. So consider getting a head rubbed. When my cats have anxiety, I will just rub their head. Okay, I can tell when they have anxiety because their eyes start twitching or they'll just keep pacing back and forth. So I'll take time just to like rub the top of their head, like above their eyes. Believe it or not, cats love it when you rub above their eyes and around their eyes. That feel good, huh, Flicky? Yeah, look, see, he got all drowsy. My older male cat, he started getting real chill. So have your partner Um, get some eucalyptus and mint lotion or lavender lotion and have them massaged above your eyes and around your eyes. And right at the middle part of near each of your ear. Like the same place you would rub a cat is the same place you would rub yourself or get yourself rubbed. Okay? One way to know if anxiety, if the energy is trash in your house and it's causing your anxiety is your pets. Your pets, they're just open vessels. They cannot even set up boundaries. So if they're like restless, out of control, fighting a lot, pacing back and forth for stuff, acting real irritated, often this time they're dealing with anxiety too. Okay? So, and if they're quick to always bend their head to get you to rub them, like if you have a cat always bending his head to rub you to rub it, especially in the morning hours, then there is an important hormone that you're low in that is causing anxiety. It could be estrogen. Um, so the cat is trying to like um, boost your like your belief and your positive mindset and believe possible positive mindset for yourself, which helps to actually bring up your estrogen levels. Okay, um, like working out helps to raise estrogen as well, especially when it's like sexy working out or yoga or tai chi, and like HIIT will also quickly boost your estrogen. So this is why you see cats doing HIIT. They'll just like suddenly start speeding out of nowhere. Cats are cats are really important for aging women to have. Consider getting at least one cat, because one of their purpose is to help you with your anxiety. Okay. Hi, Blicky. Hi, what? Hi, Boosh. Okay. Um, when you're having a shift, you're going to have anxiety. For some of y'all, you just got to, come up with a health plan for it. But normally within 9 months, for some people, like 6 months, that anxiety of that shift clears because you're so far into the shift. So you're pretty much, you don't have like one foot still in the in between of your chapter change. So that's to be expected. You may be tempted to chew on your fingers. You may pull out your hair. You may get itchy. Like all of that can be signs of anxiety. You may find your eyes getting crusty a lot, stuff like that. That happens when you're having a shift. Your body is shedding. Even if you're not physically doing the shedding, like purposely shedding, your body is shedding on its own during the shift. So there's some anxiety because the belief system is in a trance. I'm not sure where I left off at, but basically, when you're having anxiety and you feel like you need to set up boundaries with your mind and you got to do a technology detox, you're probably in the middle of a shift or you're very close to one, a life shift. So the belief system in your mind is being rewritten. So your subconsciousness starts to panic and worry and fear. Okay? Down in your brain it starts. And it's like it's being given new assignments, so they're kind of like panicking. Your team and your subconsciousness. So their energy, the energy in your subconsciousness comes to the surface of your consciousness. And then when you wake up, you feel anxiety. You may not even know exactly why, but it is the inner working in your subconsciousness connecting with your conscious daily work or plans or wishes or fear. And it all collectively is being sorted out due to a shift in your life. So it creates anxiety. It's like going for a job interview. Okay? Consider the fact that it's like you're going for your future self is interviewing your present self to see if it is qualified to take its place. If it's qualified to switch places. Like looking at it like that. So if you want to do the future thinking, you're stepping so much into your future self that you've been trying to manifest that the anxiety is there because it's still not as familiar. Okay? All right, y'all, I'm going to get back on in a little bit. I'm going to do a part 2. I'm going to give other solutions. Like one additional solution is to do a lot of positive meditation before you go to bed. That's going to kind of like bone rush your subconsciousness with positive energy, and then when you wake up, that energy that's coming from the bottom of the sea in your subconsciousness floats to the top. So then that's the energy and vibration that you're leading with when you wake up before even doing a lot of meditation. That would be the highest percentage of energy you have if you also did positive affirmations in the morning at the same time. So try to like flood your subconsciousness before you go to bed, like flood it with positive affirmations. So another thing is you could be having dreams that are telling you what's causing your anxiety. So document your dreams. Like, don't get out of bed as soon as you wake up. Don't even open your eyes. Repeat what you just saw in your dreams. Say it like at least 3 times. And then immediately grab your journal and write it down as fast as you can, but clearly. You'll find that at least like in that week, one of those dreams is like a kind of a red flag, like, yeah, this is what's causing your anxiety. Like for me, it was a symbolic dream that was showing how a lot of people around me is comfortable with just like being wasteful and abusing people that's different than them. Very clan acting, and me feeling, and I was outside the group in my dreams, like, and I was being treated coldly. So basically, the symbolism of toxic, self-absorbed, wasteful people treating me like I need permission to be around them and not so welcoming me. It's a past experience that is like trying to return. It might be a toxic manifestation that's coming, and my energy probably, the prophet in me probably senses it, and so anxiety's coming. Anxiety's happening. So basically, my dream is trying to prepare me already energetically for what normally causes my anxiety. And the funny thing about it is that I didn't even realize that my family had like several gatherings before even Christmas come, because of different people's birthdays and all of that. So yeah, basically there could be a part in your reality is still a part of the toxic part of a reality in which you already manifested what you're manifesting right now. I know that sounds confusing, but let me say it again. There could be a toxic part of your reality that was present in a past reality in which you manifested something good that you're manifesting now. So that one toxic part of your reality is like a synchronicity in several realities in which you're becoming your best version of yourself. So basically, spiritually, you can feel the metaphysical manifestation of that toxic part of the reality. You may not be in it physically yet, but your metaphysical self can feel it, so the anxiety is coming. The toxic part of that reality is coming off like a threat to the good part that you may be re-manifesting. Okay, I said I'm gonna have some workshops teaching about this. So I'm gonna use my story in the next video as an example of how that applies to what was causing, what was making my anxiety come back. So I'm gonna take a brief break. I know now to start taking like 15, 20 minutes breaks when I'm talking for 20 minutes. I don't want to trash my throat chakra. So I have to spend 15, 20 minutes hydrating before I get back on. So I'll be back in about 15, 20 minutes, and I'll do a part two and give y'all the additional non-traditional video, or and to donate to my Cash App for all the hard work I've been doing over the last few days and in this video. I've been working hard doing this shit for everybody, not just for myself. I've been like doing long videos over and over again. Y'all know that I may not come when y'all call, but y'all will notice I'll put videos up right when y'all really need them. I actually have a spiritual practice that tells me when I should be giving to the community. It tells me when. It's a synchronicity. So I'm obedient to it. And I just trust whatever I got in messages and downloads and intuitively feel. I trust whatever that is what I have to bring to the community, and I just do it. You know, like Stephen Press will say, just do it. Just get it done. It doesn't matter how long or whether you're going to get something from it. Just do it. That's you putting pressure on the creator to give you more in your like purpose, whether it's more that will bring more or more money in some form. All right. The person who's giving more is the happiest. So if you're dealing with anxiety problems, consider like what can you give away? What can you give to somebody? Consider giving something. I know when I feel too much anxiety, I will do more of the work around the house for my family. I will pick up some of their housework or their chores. People who are energetically fighting you can actually cause your anxiety. I know that's why like someone without saying a word to you can actually manifest anxiety into your life. If the wicked people can manifest curses and bad things and obstacles, they can manifest an emotion to be an obstacle. So sometimes people do manifest a certain emotion and feeling to be an obstacle in your life. Maybe they've gotten to know you, so they know what type of behavior to switch to when you're having a shift, so you have anxiety. So just if people are being two-faced or bipolar or whatever with their energy right now, they're probably one of the things that's trying to give you anxiety during the shift. And they probably have done it before. This could be a synchronicity shift that they have delayed before in your life. And they're just using the old energy trick, narcissistic manipulation to give you anxiety. Really, anxiety means you need some freedom. You need more freedom. Okay, that's like a hidden sign. So maybe go do some traveling, take a little mini vacation, leave the familiar. Sometimes the familiar and the problems in the familiar is too much in your face all the time. It creates anxiety. Like also what's absent in the familiar. Like one of the subs on my channel lost their mom. So we know when you're having a shift, you be like, I wish my mom and dad. You start thinking about your childhood. You be like, I miss people. You know, I really need their support. That's the time where you actually got to turn to yourself to find support that may be, you don't even know the support from an unlikely place or through books. I find that we can get support from our dead loved ones through books. So do intuitive book picking. Go to the library. Do something old fashioned. Go to the library and intuitively grab books where you think your mom or your support system that have died, you think would want you would to read. Like I saw a quote that said, "We discover our own." When I discovered my mother's garden, I discovered my own. Family members leave us something for the benefit of our shift. Sometimes we just got to take time and try to figure out and think about what it was that they left us. It could be, sometimes it's just a phrase they said. So for me, it's fair exchange ain't no robbery. I was in that energy, and then the quote came to me, and my mother would say that fair exchange ain't no robbery in a relationship. Don't hit below the belt. Just don't do that. So when somebody was hitting below the belt recently, I caught myself and I was like, I'm not going to hit below the belt. Because if you're genuinely a good person and you hit below the belt because somebody hit below the belt, it will only backfire on you because it's not your true nature. So you may end up getting anxiety, worrying about what's going to happen to your spirit because you mirrored their toxic behavior. So that's what was happening to me. I was getting anxiety after I would mirror someone hitting below the belt. So I said, I'm not going to do it. Okay. I'm just going to literally say what I need, and they could take it or leave it. And they tried to like low key hit below the belt. And I literally just got silent and left and walked away. Um, so they're dealing with anxiety, which I could sense. They were trying to dump their anxiety energy on me. They were trying to pull me into the same energy, but it backfired. Sometimes people don't want to be in anxiety energy alone. They're transferring that spiritual essence of that anxiety through petty disagreements and stuff. So I try to catch it, you know. The moment I even find myself tempted to like eat unhealthy and not be mindful, I already know that anxiety is probably building up in me. If I chew on one of my nails or if I fiddle with things too much, I already know that anxiety's building up. So I don't wait till it's like out of control and I'm like running for the hills. Um, I immediately deal with the little signs. So now sometimes anxiety can only really be dealt with when you had it so long is by finding something that would manage your nerves, like the sound of a fan, you know, in a quiet room. Or believe it or not, I find that a clock ticking actually soothes my anxiety. A quiet room with a clock ticking. When I was in a hospital and I was getting anxiety about my blood results because there was a high chance it was going to be bad, and it did end up bad. I ended up with critically low white blood cells and had to be admitted. But I already suspected it, but I was just hoping they didn't find like, you know, like cancer because they said my blood work in the first test didn't look good. So I was like, my anxiety went real high. But as soon as I like shut the door and I started listening to the ticking clock in the room, I find that it gave my mind something to focus on other than what was giving me anxiety. Like a clock is consistent with the ticks. Anxiety can often come because too much inconsistency, too much messy, your energy all over the place, and there's energy around you that's like messy. Okay? There needs to be a cleaning. I find that polishing things help to relieve anxiety. So I had terrible anxiety 2 days ago, and I jumped up and said, "Hell no!" And I just start going buck wild with the cleaning. I make sure now I do some hard labor cleaning several days a week so that I can keep the anxiety down to a bare minimum. Now, sometimes you think you're having anxiety, but you actually may be sick with something that is causing problems in your brain that's giving you anxiety type symptoms. Like me, because I had y'all know what? The airborne thing. I had it twice. It has caused a glitch in my thought process. It only really gets better when I take magnesium and I increase my vitamin D, which I haven't done yet, so that's why my thoughts are a little glitchy. But if I don't deal with that, then of course the anxiety is probably going to grow. And what's sad about anxiety is sometimes you can have it and be so deep in it and you don't even know. You don't know until you've done a lot of damage to yourself. Um, One time I had looked at my toenails and my fingers and I had cut the nails down so low, y'all. I didn't even notice, but it was me so caught up in anxiety um, doing that one thing that I like went way too far. So now I try to take care of that part early as possible so it doesn't be what I abuse because I got anxiety. Anxiety will lead you to some self sabotage. Anxiety will make you run and be an escape artist. But there's nothing wrong with that. I have a video I'm putting up on my new channel that's going to talk about how to make running away work for you. Especially if you're like, I got to get away from what's causing me anxiety. But that video will be on my new channel today. If you want the link to my new channel, email me. I already did the video, y'all. I already did the video. I can't post the link to the new channel because they tell you never advertise your new channel. I really don't want people from my past that I cut off over the past year. I really don't want them stalking my energy. I'm pretty fed up with them using this YouTube channel to attack me and monitor me just to give me anxiety because they're mad that I'm grounded without them. So yeah. There's some other things I want to talk about when I say about anxiety. Sometimes you think what's giving you anxiety is actually something else, and it's something that you've been thinking is safe, but it's not. Like you're in an illusion that it's safe. And if you like do some self-reflection and look at the big picture, you'll see it's not safe, and that's what's causing your anxiety. I'll get into that in the next video. I'm going to take a brief 15-20 minute break during our shift because we're in a shift, y'all. The shift began 2 days ago for most people. I'm going to hydrate because when you get too dry, anxiety hit. You know, dryness will leave you salty, and when you get too salty, you get anxiety. So start refreshing your mouth a lot too, your throat chakra. Baking soda, lemon, and ginger, and 2 cups of spring water or fresh water or pre-boiled water, and a teaspoon of each ingredient you put in there, pretty much. And drink that in quiet and peace. And, take your little brain vitamin. I feel like if you have anxiety too much, you better off getting a brain vitamin. They make all natural vegetable based brain vitamins. They just call them brain vitamins, but all they are vitamins that have a higher amount of vitamins that are important for brain health. So that's all. That's the only reason why they call it a brain vitamin. I find that CBD is like the ultimate thing you can use for anxiety. I know some LGBTQ people who have been abused and really disrespected, and they get medically prescribed CBD, or CBD is a part of their grocery list. There's a lot of minorities suffering from extreme minorities, people who are just getting by, people who don't got their usual support system like loving parents, people whose kids are suffering and they can't like help. but the pressure's on them and they don't know if they're going to be able to help, those people normally have a lot of anxiety. You know, when you really need something, you need to get something done, or you need to help people that love you, and you can't, or your arms is tied behind your back, that anxiety comes in. You know, there's a fear in the subconsciousness that says, "Oh, you're going to lose that person. Oh, things are not going to work out. You're going to, y'all going to fall out." You may not hear that whisper in your subconsciousness, but it's there, and it's creating that anxiety. Okay. Um. So, uh, try not to think so much of the future. When you think of the future, when you're in a shift, and you know the risk already if it doesn't happen, anxiety sets in, especially if it's something really important that has to happen, and you've already been pre-warned about possible risks that you can manifest if you don't do it. Like, let's say your doctor told you you're already showing signs that you're going to have to be on blood pressure medicine for a while, and you're trying to manifest healthy blood levels during the shift. And but maybe you heard a lot of stories about how if you don't, you're going to suffer from blood pressure. You may drop dead or whatever, and people that drop dead from high blood pressure. So you may feel anxiety if you keep future thinking, because those memories will come in. Memories follow your consciousness. You can't future think without facts and information coming to the surface. It's always going to come to the surface, even the bad stuff, the bad facts, the risk. So this is why it's important just to live in the present. Sometimes you do got to go non-modern, like more or less present, more or less with the current times, so that you can live more in the present. Living in the present don't necessarily mean you got to go with the way times are right now. Okay, because that could be why you have anxiety. The fact that you're going with these times, and these times is just not for you. Your spirit maybe have been through many time periods, and there's a couple of time periods it prefer, and you're forcing a certain time period on it that it doesn't want. This is why getting rid of anxiety and stepping into your power during a shift requires you to be very comfortable being an individual, not just going with the large collective tribe of society with what you have to do during these times, what they say you have to do, not just going with it. Okay, I hope this video really helped y'all. I'll be back in about 15-20 minutes. Once again, if you'd like to donate, you can donate to my Cash App at @Coach V Hunter. As I said, one way through anxiety is to give more. Anxiety sometimes have an underlining tone of feeling like you don't have much value, and you start to think you're the problem when you're not getting the appreciation you deserve. But actually, if you do more, the confirmation that you're not the value will kind of trump whatever people made you feel like. So you can always look back on what you gave to lift your spirits. Okay. You can revisit gifts to lift your spirits, to clear out anxiety. I do it all the time. If I have anxiety because what somebody told me might happen bad if I do this or whatever, I will go look at what I done before without knowing the risk and how it worked out. So I protect my hope level, so the anxiety doesn't conquer me. I'm not conquered by my anxiety. All right, y'all, be back in 15-20 minutes. Bye, everybody.